Hi there, this is Solitary Ronan from Solitary Ronan Films, and welcome to another episode of One Director, Four Films. Today's subject is Richard Lester, a filmmaker that I've maybe grown to appreciate in the last 3 or 4 years a lot more than I did, with a few exceptions. He's not for everyone, but his films generally are so well crafted. They have ridiculous casts. Again, he's done a little bit of everything. So here goes with my fundamental Richard Lester, my favourite Richard Lester, an underseen or underrated gem, and a Flounder, the film that I don't really enjoy as much as other ones. But again, this series is all about you and your choices, which I'm always excited to see. So for my fundamental Richard Lester, I'm going to go with Robin and Marian from 1976. This is a film that I saw when I was a lot younger, didn't really appreciate it, and now that I'm a lot older, I appreciate it a lot more, because it's just about perfect. This could have almost made my favourite choice as well. This is the best version of Robin Hood. This is Robin Hood middle-aged and balding, starring Sean Connery. Again, another ridiculous cast. Audrey Hepburn is Maid Marian. Robert Shaw is just wonderful. But you get Nicole Williamson, Denham Elliott, Ronnie Barker, Ian Holm, Richard Harris as Richard the Lionheart. It's just so wonderful about aging, about the weight of expectation, the weight of myth. And again, a cast you just couldn't make it nowadays, apart from a lot of the cast are no longer with us, sadly, but apart from that. Now, my favourite Richard Lester has always been my favourite. It probably will always be my favourite. I've loved this film since I was a nipper. It's How I Won the War with Michael Crawford, and John Lennon's finest work as an artist on any level as Gripweed. Again, this is, I think Richard Lester described it as an anti-war film. Again, not for everybody. It can take a couple of viewings to catch every joke. This is satire of the highest level. Michael Crawford is the bumbling, posh officer who doesn't have a clue. And Michael Hordern as his superior is absolutely woolly-headed and wonderful. And his company's mission is to go behind enemy lines and build a cricket pitch to boost morale. There's just so much going on. Again, it can be overwhelming the first time you watch it. For years, this was just on a very dark DVD that you couldn't actually see what the hell was going on. But now Kino Lorber and BFI also have a wonderful Blu-ray release. And it's just a wonderful film. It tickles my funny bone, and it's just so bleak and so fantastic. So How I Won the War is my favourite Richard Lester film, and it always will be, even though Robin and Marian is not that far off. And then from underrated, there's a few that are underrated, but I'm going to go with Juggernaut. Again, another ridiculous cast. Richard Harris, Omar Sharif, Ian Holm, David Hemmings, Anthony Hopkins, Roy Kinnear, who obviously would work quite a lot with Richard Lester. This is a good old-fashioned disaster film about a bomb, strangely enough, on a ocean liner, but the humour is wonderful, the tension is fantastic, because obviously a lot in these films, they have set pieces, but the tension isn't really there. This has got top class tension, and just great work by another ridiculous cast. There's Richard Harris and Omar Sharif, just in case you don't know who Richard Harris and Omar Sharif are. Even at 126 minutes, it's an absolute joy. One of those classic Sunday afternoon films, which are still very hard to actually pull off properly. So even though this might not be top class Richard Lester, and I don't think he was involved from day one in the film, it still just shows what a craftsman he is and how he can get the job done, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful film. And for my Flounder, this is perhaps a little bit biased because of my bias, but I'm going to go with Hard Day's Night. Again, I would probably go with A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, I think that's what it's called, but I don't have it in my collection because it's not that good. But I'm going to go with a film I do have in my collection, and that's A Hard Day's Night. I'm not a Beatles fan, but obviously I love John Lennon's performance in this. Not quite as good as his performance in How I Won the War. But this is an important film as far as Richard Lester's style. There's a lot of the knack and how to get it. There's a lot of How I Won the War. As far as camera techniques and editing style, a lot of this happened kind of by accident and happy accidents. It does have a great energy to it. And this second sight Blu-ray is stacked with special features. I know Criterion have released or going to release this in a 4K. It's going to be the Richard Lester film I watch the least, just because I'm not a fan of the Beatles. But again, as far as the early roots of what would kind of become the Richard Lester style, it is a key film in his catalogue. But again, just for personal taste, it's probably the Richard Lester film I'm going to watch the least. But again, that's what the Flounder category is. It's not necessarily a bad film, because it's not a bad film by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just the one that you probably visit the least. So thanks very much for watching the Richard Lester episode of One Director, Four Films. But again, this series is all about you, so I look forward to seeing your choices. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying cheerio.